So what's good, YouTube? Welcome to the channel, your girl Natasha Nisha. In today's one, I'll be speaking about journaling as a tool slash hack to warfare. So do you journal, and you might be missing out and even risking defeat big time. So stay till the end. This is what I'll be unpacking in this one. So context. Personally, I've been like going through it, just the most on all fronts, with my health challenges, spiritual challenges, financial challenges, as well as emotional challenges. And you know what they say, when days are dark, friends are few. So for me, like, not having a friend during this, to console, comfort me, just to unpack and even share love, has made the whole ordeal 10x worse. And this, excuse, added challenge of like isolation and loneliness now, with no support system, no one to talk to, and no one to talk to that gets you, or even cares. There's no one to talk to that even cares. Yeah, can be much, just to like take your mind off the warfare, the battlefront, for a while, for a short while, and not being able to check out can be very taxing. It can and usually leads to a place of exhaustion, I found, whereby there's your emotional erosion, you know, there's fatigue, there's burnout, you're just drained. And this is a dangerous place to be found, because like your strength is waning, there is a risk of falling, and heck, even throwing in the towel, So all this due to the stress and negative thinking and the drain on your peace, from being in the battle. So, sometimes all of this is just a test yet again, whereby you alone and God is all you got, So will you come to this realization gratefully, thankfully, humbly, that you're not alone? You got God got you, and you can't fail as a result. And like, it's also a test now. It's just you and the Father. So like, will you go deeper in Him, in relationship, and come to rely more on Him, trust, work on your trust. Either way, I say all this to say, so like finally, when I was now allowed to reconnect with a friend, this was like, let's say 2 weeks later, and yes, it was refreshing, and all to like unpack, get it off my chest, because I was holding in all this toxicity and hurt, in. But why is what I realized in hindsight. So, excuse me. The solution here can be journaling, It's not always necessary to wait for a friend, A friend could never come. And I realized, like, if I had just remembered again of journaling, I could have, handled it so much better. I could have been more resilient during the trial. I could have come back to my baseline and, had my joy sooner, my peace sooner, had I just remembered the tool of journaling. So, moving along, like just on the emotional front, something what I recently learned is like, did you know that we're not meant to hold on to the emotions we feel, from life? from the battlefront, from relationships, from situations, these emotions that come as a result of interacting and dealing with people, whether it be anger or joy. So I said we're not meant to hold on to these emotions. We actually are to accept them, feel them, and then let it go, like detach. Let these emotions pass through us. And most of all, learn from it. Like, what is the lesson here? What is this trying to teach me? And I learned as well that, we should daily practice the art of letting go. They say let go and let God. That is wise to do, to have now, to become a habit in your life versus storing up and building up all this emotional content, only to later explode when pricked by the smallest of challenges or events or words, like a balloon. The smallest thing be so, built up and exploded with emotional content, which we should have let go and detached from. So, yes, we are to build up, but the building up work is where we must build up on our emotional resilience, and this is how, these are some of the ways how, just to let go and detach, etc., etc. So, this is also how, when we do it wrong here, this is also how then one, instead of becoming a beast and strong, people become snakes because of the trial, because of the battle. It makes one a beast instead of a snake, is what we want to be made beast, We wanted to make us stronger. Like, if either ways, as I said, we want to come out stronger, wiser from these battles, from these tests, from these trials. We want to be better and not bitter. We want to be not hateful, not weakened and not broken, coming through the trial. So it's wise to know that, like, we don't break, period. We may be put through the ringer and be busted up, but at the end of it, we still standing, enduring, still pushing forward. Unstoppable is what we are. And yeah, we learn from it. We get a lesson and we get back to the bounce back, we elevate to a new level as who we are. And this is the way to do it, because then this way equals also for us, like that we maintain excuse me, we maintain a better energy, a better vibe. We are back to our clear thinking, whereby we can pattern recognize the enemy's strategies and better decision. Better thinking also equals better decision making, through the storm. So it's wise to know that this is just training for raining. And yes, as I said, journaling can be a worthwhile tool / hack, even for warfare, some of what I've found. So I think that's all I got for this one. You can see some of the health challenges. And so keep me in prayer. And yeah, see you on the next one. You're going to Nisha. Peace out.